Happy day, happy day. It's your bruh, True Jew, your Ak, True Jew. A question was recently posed to me. Could two of Christ's most famous miracles actually be metaphors for something greater? Anyone familiar with the exploits of Christ would have definitely heard of the miracles he manifested before all of his taught ones and followers. We oftentimes take these stories to be literal, and for many of us, the miracles he performed are a sign of the faith and hope that we as true believers have for Christ. We also know that, like his miracles, Christ was perhaps just as famous for speaking in parables. What if some of Christ's most famous miracles were actually broader philosophical ideas, which we're told to us in a manner that would arouse our higher intelligence, causing us to ponder greatly on those ideas so that they wouldn't be easily forgotten? Two of Christ's most famous miracles, turning water into wine at a wedding and walking on water in the midst of a storm, are the object of this presentation. Let's see if we can unravel the mysteries behind these great stories and identify if they actually happened, or if they were to serve a greater purpose than just being two awesome moments in the lives of those who experienced them. Turning water into wine. The meaning: Christ, or Hamashiach, is the Word made flesh, and the Ruach HaKodesh, or Holy Spirit, is the water of life. Water is symbolic of that good, refreshing, nourishing element that sustains us daily. The human body cannot go too long without water. The human body also cannot function at a high spiritual capacity without the Ruach HaKodesh. Wine is that sweet, intoxicating liquid that makes us feel happy, great, and jovial. Once a person drinks wine and comes to find that they love it, there is a desire to want more of it. The same can be said about the Ruach HaKodesh once an individual receives of it. Everyone doesn't really like water, even though they should. The love for water isn't usually realized until someone is thirsty and in dire need of it. There are exceptions, obviously, but for the most part, the majority of people aren't big fans of drinking water daily. Wine, on the other hand, is a drink that people look forward to drinking daily, and given the opportunity, would drink daily. People who love wine get excited about drinking it whenever they can. Christ turning water into wine is symbolic of someone's interest in the water of life, or the Ruach HaKodesh, growing from seeing its value as something to be had as a nourishment to something to be craved daily as a sweet intoxicant along one's spiritual journey. The joy that one has when preparing to drink wine is the same joy we need to have when partaking in the water of life, also known as the Holy Spirit. The miraculously changed water towards the end of the wedding also symbolizes the great outpouring of the Holy Spirit in the last days, with the eventual receiving of the new covenant. Remember, a marriage is a covenant or agreement made between two or more parties. The scriptures tell us in Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 31 through 34, that Yahweh will make a new covenant with the house of Yasharallah, or the house of Israel, and with the house of Yehoiada, or with the house of Judah. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 33 states,
"But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their El, and they shall be my people."
We are currently the inheritors of a good wine, the washing of these current vessels, along with the receiving of the Ruach HaKodesh, or Holy Spirit. But when Hamashiach returns, we will be the inheritors of the absolute best wine, the newly glorified spiritual bodies, filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and new covenant, received after we've been saved from the destruction of this age. Remember, you don't put new wine in old wineskins, but you do put new wine in new wineskins. Taking part in the Ruach HaKodesh should make us feel happy, great, and jovial, just like a delicious glass of wine. I'm sure many of you have heard the statement, intoxicated with the Holy Spirit. Now you know what inspired that phrase. Scriptural references for this segment of the presentation can be located at John chapter 2 verses 1 through 11, Hebrews chapter 10 verses 16 and 17, and Jeremiah chapter 31 verses 31 through 34. In this next segment of the presentation, we will be talking about Christ walking on water. The meaning: the water, again, is the Ruach HaKodesh. In this context, walking on the water is indicative of remaining on the surface of a subject, idea, or concept, and not allowing the Holy Spirit to move you in faith towards your goals. Walking on the water is symbolic of the parables Christ spoke. The surface of the water being walked upon is related to the exoteric meaning, revolving around whatever it was he was illustrating throughout his teachings. Sinking into the water is the entering in of the esoteric or inner meanings of the word while covered or completely immersed in the Holy Spirit. This is why when Peter looked at the wind, he began to sink into the water. He was scared of the wind, but he was more afraid of being completely immersed within the Ruach HaKodesh. The wind Peter saw symbolized all of the obstacles one can face when working towards a goal. Action being taken. He became frightened because the deeper one sinks into the water, the weightier and more pressurized the water becomes. Everyone isn't ready for the deeper aspects of the water or Holy Spirit. The surface of water is safe, but there are many who still won't venture out onto it. The wind is meant to serve as a distraction, which is either going to motivate us to an increase in faith and action, or cause us to doubt ourselves into procrastination and faithlessness once a goal has been established. The wind symbolizes the adversary, or Satan. Just think about how many people are more afraid to leave a worldly life alone than to be immersed in the Holy Spirit. This is the reality that Peter felt that day. He would rather deal with the wind than to sink into the water, even though faith would have kept him from sinking and would have given him the strength to stand against the wind. Peter is also one who denied Hamashiach. Now that's something to think about. Those who do venture out into the water have to build up the confidence after being taught about it, to journey deeper into it when the time for them to do so is in alignment with their growth. Both the surface, or exoteric, and the deep, or esoteric, are vital elements in one's ability to comprehend the deeper meanings and understandings behind what is being conveyed, where truth and philosophy converge. The idea of walking on the water is in itself a parable, containing the deeper importance of searching out a matter in fullness while being immersed in the Holy Spirit, but only when the faith to do such has been fully attained. The weight of the journey towards the truth and the pressure felt while getting closer can be overbearing for some, in which case the surface acts as a safe place until the confidence to dive deeper has been attained. Keep in mind that there are many who won't even journey out to the surface and would rather watch from the shore. The scriptural references for this section of the presentation can be found at Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 through 33. We know, according to the narrative of the scriptures, that what we've read to have happened was a shadow of things to come. In other words, these miracles did take place, but they were a sign of even greater, deeper meaning meant to be expounded upon during the end of the age in this present day. This is your bruh, True Jew, your Ak True Jew, coming at you the only way I know how. Raw, real, and uncut. Remember, I love you to life always. Stay blessed, stay vigilant. Most High Mama and Papa willing, I'll be back with another one. But until then, gone.